Hi everybody, sorry I can't be there today, but I'm hoping I can teach you exactly what you were supposed to learn regardless. So here we go. Today what we're going to be doing is we're doing problems that say, if the circumference is 12 pi centimeters, what is the area? So basically we're given a circumference, we have to find pieces within the circumference in order to find the area. Here are our steps to the left. We're going to rewrite, replace, or calculate twice. Once, we're going to be substituting into our circumference formula. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and rewrite our circumference formula. We have C equals, I'm going to use pi d. 2 pi r is great, but I also really like pi d. Now when we replace, what are we given here? Here we are given the C or the D. We're given the C. So we're going to replace C with 12 pi, and we're going to bring down the rest, equals pi d. Now think back, way back to when we were solving equations. We drop it, and then we box it. We want to get the diameter by itself, because now that is the only variable I have left. So what can I do to both sides to get the diameter by itself? Hopefully you said, oh, Miss Carbone, you can totally just divide by pi. Divide by pi. Now you must think that this is weird and something you have to put in your calculator, but you actually don't have to. When you do pi divided by pi, they actually just cancel out to be 1. So you're just left with the d on this side, and now on this side, you're just left with 12, which kind of matches up, right? If you think about it, if our diameter is 12, and they're saying c equals 12 pi, isn't the 12 in the place of the diameter to begin with? I hope you see that, and if not, just solve the equation. So now we know our diameter is 12, and therefore our radius is 6. Remember, Miss Lyons and I always wanted you to get in the habit of writing those two things, just so you know what you need. We're not finished yet. It says, what is the area? So now we need area equals pi r squared. Rewrite. Let's replace. Do we need the diameter or the radius? Hopefully you said the radius. A equals pi times 6 squared. Now remember your order of operations. You can't do pi times 6 first. You have to do 6 squared first. So area equals 36 pi. Now it says to leave in terms of pi, so we're finished. If we needed to convert this to a decimal, that's when you would put 36 times pi in your calculator and then round. What do you guys think? Hopefully, not too bad. Let's do it again. Here it says if the circumference is 6 pi, what is the area? Let's go ahead and start with our circumference formula. C equals pi d. Well, some of you might actually be able to see what the diameter is right now. Some of you might not. So we rewrote. We need to replace this for C. So we have 6 pi equals pi d. Right here, you should be able to tell what is our diameter. Well, if this is pi d and this is pi 6, that means our diameter must be 6. But let's prove it mathematically. Let's go ahead and divide both sides by pi. Cancel, cancel. Leaving the diameter is indeed 6. Congratulations. You guys did a good job. Diameter is 6. Radius is therefore 3. Excellent. Give me a thumbs up if this feels pretty comfortable for you, getting the diameter. The substitute will kind of record how many people gave thumbs ups. Thanks, guys. Now we're not done because we need to find the area. So rewrite. Area equals pi r squared. We need to replace. In this case, we know the r. So we have area equals pi times 3 squared. Again, we're leaving in terms of pi. We need to do our squared before we do our multiplying. So we have area equals 9 pi. And we're done. This, I think, is the easier one because the diameter is pretty much being shown to you whenever you're given it in terms of pi. If you weren't giving it in terms of pi, so like let's say you had something like, I don't know, C was 12.56. Then you would have to do C equals pi d. Then you replace that there. So you have 12.56 equals pi d. Then you just divide by pi like we just did. Throw that in your calculator and you'll get a diameter that will tell you how to round. That's what you do if you're given a decimal. If you want to write this down somewhere, you can. They can pause the video. If you don't, that's okay. Just ask the sub to pause. Now, let's come up to the top. This one is a little bit trickier. This one requires you to remember your perfect squares. Remember your perfect squares list, like 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49, 8 squared is 64, 9 squared is 81, 10 squared is 100, so on and so forth, where these numbers down here are the perfect squares. Just a little reminder from like something we did way back in September, because you're going to need it here. This problem says if the area is 8 pi inches squared, what is the radius and the circumference? So we have to identify two different things. We can leave our circumference in terms of pi. Again, we're going to rewrite, replace, recalculate. So we're going to rewrite area equals pi r squared, because that's what we're given, the area. We're going to replace the a with 81 pi. We don't need the inches squared because it's just units. So we have 81 pi equals pi r squared. Now we need to get the r by itself, so we're going to go ahead and box r squared, drop it. Again, what do we need to divide both sides by to get the r squared by itself? Pi. I hope that's what you guys thought. I will find out tomorrow. These cancel, therefore you have r squared equals 81. That means some number squared gave you 81. So think back to your perfect squares list. What number squared gave us 81? Oh, 9. So right away we know the r is 9. If that's kind of weird for you, or if you just like to do a little bit more mathy things, anybody remember what the opposite of squaring a number is? I hope somebody did. If not, no big deal. It's this beautiful thing called a square root. So when we take a square root of a squared, they actually cancel each other out, like how multiplication and division cancel each other out, and adding and subtracting cancel each other out. Squaring and square rooting cancel each other out. But whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. If you were to put the square root of 81 in your calculator, you would get 9. If you don't believe me, give it a try. So right away, we found the radius to be 9, and as always, we always identify the diameter. Are we done? No, we need to do the circumference. So C equals pi d. Well, what's our diameter? 18. So C equals 18 pi. And in this case, it would just be inches. A little weirder, but still doable, I hope. Sorry about that. Now let's try it again. If the area is 36 pi inches squared, so that means the 36 pi is our A, what is the circumference? So now we don't need to say what its radius is, but we just need to get to the circumference. Therefore, that means we need the diameter, because C equals pi d. So eventually, we're going to need this information, right? Let's start with what we have. We're going to rewrite area equals pi r squared. We're going to replace the a, because that's what we're given. So 36 pi, yes, the pi has to come with you. I forgot to mention that earlier, but for all of it, it does. Then we need to isolate the r squared. So in order to get r squared by itself, we need to divide both sides by pi. Those cancel out, leaving you with r squared is equal to 36. Find 36 in our perfect squares list. Oh, 6 squared gives us 36, so that means r is 6, therefore our diameter is 12. Again, you could have square rooted both sides to find out, but you guys will always have a perfect square here. It will never not be a perfect square. Now we can find our circumference. C equals 12 pi. Check back, leave in terms of pi, therefore we are finished. It is C equals 12 pi inches. Thank you guys for your time and attention. I hope this helps. We will be working on this all day tomorrow, and I hope you enjoy your day. Bye, guys.